All right, so we're diving into some pretty heady stuff today, folks. Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, they're all about AI safety, right?
Right.
You'd think going in we'd be bracing for a whole lot of warnings, doom and gloom scenarios.
Yeah, you would.
But get this, Amodei flips at the script. His take on the future with AI, downright optimistic. I mean, surprisingly so.
Yeah, and what's really striking is how Amodei is not shying away from AI's potential power at all. Like, he leans right into it, talking about this compressed 21st century idea.
Okay, compressed 21st century. That needs some unpacking.
Basically, he's saying get ready, because AI is going to be such a potent accelerant, we're going to cram a century's worth of progress breakthroughs, the whole shebang, into just 5, maybe 10 years. 5 to 10 years. Hold on, that's practically tomorrow. He really sees AI being that transformative.
He does. Amodei's whole argument hinges on AI becoming this ultimate collaborator. Imagine a tireless researcher working nonstop alongside scientists and engineers in every field you can think of. But when he gets to biology and health, that's when things get really interesting. Okay, so we're not just talking new drugs, new therapies, the usual stuff.
Nope. We're talking about changing our very relationship with disease, fundamentally. Amodei throws out these bold predictions. Eradication of most infectious diseases. Gone. Like history book stuff, like we did with polio, smallpox.
Yeah.
Just a distant memory.
Wow. And what about cancer? Feels like we've been battling that forever.
Even cancer, Amodei thinks AI could be the key. Early detection so precise, it's almost like predicting the future. Treatments tailored to each person down to their genetic code.
Yeah.
Maybe even cures we haven't even dreamed up yet.
Okay, hold on. So are we all going to be living to 150, 200 years old? Is that what we're talking about here?
That's where it gets even wilder. Amodei's actually predicting AI could help double the human lifespan. Think about the massive societal shifts that come with that. Careers, relationships, how we even understand time itself. That have to change.
Whoa. Okay, a lot to process there. But it's not just about lifespan, right? It's about the quality of those years, too.
Absolutely. He talks about AI being used to treat genetic diseases, like actually rewrite the code to prevent them from even being passed on. Imagine diseases that have haunted families for generations just gone.
This isn't just him spitballing, though, right? He's basing this on what's already happening in the field.
Oh, totally. Amodei brings up breakthroughs. We've seen CRISPR, mRNA vaccines, says that's just the tip of the iceberg. He sees AI as this accelerant, taking those breakthroughs and pushing them further, faster than we can even wrap our heads around right now.
Okay, but let's get real for a second. Eradicating a disease in a lab is one thing, but what about actually getting those treatments out there to everyone who needs them globally? What about people in developing nations, folks who can't afford high-tech solutions?
And that's something Amodei addresses head on. He's not blind to the potential for inequality, but sees a role for AI in bridging that gap too.
Okay, I'm listening. How so?
So imagine this. Using AI to create super efficient distribution networks for these treatments, reaching even the most remote places on Earth. Or AI helping develop new types of vaccines, easier to distribute, maybe even personalized to someone's genes and their environment.
Wow. It's like he's describing a world where healthcare goes beyond just treating what's wrong. It's about optimizing everyone's potential.
Exactly. And that's just the start. We're just scratching the surface of Amodei's AI-powered future. It goes way beyond just biology and health. He gets into the economy, governance, even the very idea of what work will mean.
This is already a lot to unpack, and I'm hooked.
And hold on, because it gets even more mind-blowing when Amodei starts talking about the brain.
Right, the neuroscience angle.
Right.
This is where AI unlocks all the secrets of the mind, right?
Exactly. He thinks AI could completely revolutionize how we understand the brain, leading to these huge breakthroughs in treating mental illness.
So we're talking like depression, anxiety, all those things people struggle with every day.
Those, absolutely. But also the really complex stuff. Schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, maybe even personality disorders that are notoriously difficult to treat. Amodei's vision is AI helping us map out the brain's complexity so precisely we can create treatments tailored to your unique neurochemistry.
So it's like having an AI therapist who can look at your brainwaves and say, aha, there's the problem. That's both amazing and kind of creepy, you know?
It definitely raises some interesting questions about the future of mental health care, yeah. But hold on, because Amodei doesn't stop there. He also thinks AI could help us enhance our cognitive abilities, improve memory, boost focus, maybe even unlock levels of creativity we haven't tapped into yet.
Wait, so are we talking about like becoming superhuman with AI?
That's the general idea. Amodei argues our brains are capable of so much more than we realize, and AI might be the key to unlocking that potential. Imagine learning new skills effortlessly, understanding complex concepts instantly, even overcoming our own biases. And it's accessible to everyone.
Okay, now that's a future I can get behind. But let's shift gears a little here. All this incredible progress, all these benefits, it makes you wonder who gets to decide how this technology is used. What about the potential for misuse, for AI to destabilize things, maybe even mess up global politics?
And those are the exact concerns Amodei grapples with when he talks about AI's impact on peace and global governance.
Yeah.
He doesn't downplay the risks, but his argument is that AI itself isn't inherently good or bad. It's a tool. Its impact depends entirely on how we choose to use it.
So how do we make sure we're using this powerful tool for good? Building a future where AI means more cooperation, not conflict.
Amodei has this really thought-provoking strategy he calls the Entente strategy. He says democratic nations need to band together, take the lead in AI development, not to dominate, but to make sure this technology is used ethically for the benefit of everyone.
So, like, we need to be ahead of the curve, setting the standards for how AI gets developed and used globally.
Exactly. His point is, this Entente of nations could use their combined resources and knowledge to steer AI in a positive direction, make sure the benefits are shared fairly, all of that.
Okay, but realistically, how does that even work? How do you get different countries, all with their own interests and stuff, to agree on something as complex as AI?
Amodei admits it's not going to be easy, but he does think it's crucial. He suggests starting with clear international agreements on ethical AI development and think of it like the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, but for artificial intelligence.
So, like, ground rules to prevent AI from being weaponized or used for shady stuff.
Right. But he goes beyond just preventing the bad. He says this collaboration could actually be a force for good, using AI to tackle global problems, things like climate change, poverty, disease. But it'd have to be coordinated, a true team effort.
That's a powerful idea. AI is a tool to solve some of the world's biggest problems. Together. I like that.
He even suggests this entente could use AI to support democracy and human rights. Imagine a global network of AI systems that can monitor for abuses, track corruption, even fight back against propaganda and misinformation.
So AI as a force for transparency, holding people and institutions accountable. Fascinating concept, but I'm sure some people wouldn't be too happy about that.
Oh, absolutely. Amodei knows there'd be challenges, potential downsides, the risk of bias in the AI itself, concerns about privacy, surveillance. All that has to be considered.
Sounds like we'd be in uncharted territory, having to navigate all kinds of ethical, political, and technological minefields all at once.
And that's what makes Amodei's vision so compelling, right? He's not ignoring the complexity, but he's urging us to approach this new era with open minds and a willingness to have the tough conversations.
He's challenging us to look past the hype and the fear surrounding AI, to see the very real possibility of shaping a future where technology actually strengthens our social fabric.
And maybe most importantly, he's reminding us that the future of AI isn't set in stone. We get to decide what role it plays in our lives, in the lives of generations to come.
This is giving me a lot to think about. But there's one thing we haven't touched on yet. What about work? If AI is coming for our jobs, what happens to our sense of purpose, our place in the world?
The million-dollar question. And Amodei dives right into it.
So spill it. What does Amodei think will happen in this future where AI is everywhere?
Well, one thing's for sure. He doesn't buy into that whole robots are taking over, humans are obsolete narrative.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit.
Okay, so what's his take then?
He sees it more as a transformation of work itself, not the end of work. Like fundamentally different.
All right, I'll bite. What does that even look like? Paint me a picture.
Amodei talks about this idea of comparative advantage. So as AI gets better and better at certain tasks, humans, we naturally gravitate towards the things we excel at, the things that play to our strengths.
Right, like those 10% of tasks that AI just can't seem to crack. We become even more specialized, laser-focused on the stuff machines struggle with. Creativity, complex problem solving, emotional intelligence, all that uniquely human stuff.
Exactly. He even argues that this kind of hyper-specialization could lead to a boom in new industries, new job categories we can't even imagine yet.
It's true though, right? It's like that saying, the best way to predict the future is to invent it. We're limited by our own imaginations.
And this is where things get really interesting. Amodei thinks this shift will force us to re-examine some of our deeply ingrained beliefs about work, leisure, all of it.
Okay, how so?
Think about it. If AI is taking care of all those tasks that eat up our time now, that frees us up, right?
Yeah.
to pursue other things, creative passions, lifelong learning, just spending more quality time with people we care about.
So instead of a society obsessed with work, we move towards one that values personal fulfillment, well-being. Sign me up. But let's be real, what about the people who get left behind, those whose jobs are automated out of existence?
Oh, Amodei doesn't sugarcoat it. He knows this transition won't be easy. He's adamant that governments and companies have to step up, big time, providing safety nets, retraining opportunities we need to help people adapt.
Okay, so things like universal basic income, robust job training programs, maybe even entirely new forms of social support that we haven't even conceived of yet.
Right. He sees those measures as not just a safety net, but as a way to empower people to actually thrive in this new world where work and leisure are becoming increasingly intertwined. A huge change.
It's a pretty radical idea, but then again, so much of what we've discussed today has been Amodei is really challenging our assumptions about the future.
That's the core of his message, I think. It's exciting, a little unnerving. He's not talking about incremental changes. This is a fundamental shift in how we see ourselves in the world, how we relate to technology, even what it means to be human.
It's like he's saying, fasten your seatbelts, everyone, because the future's going to be weirder, wilder, and more amazing than you can possibly imagine right now.
And maybe a little scary too, because at the end of the day, the future Amodea lays out isn't some predetermined thing. It's ours to shape.
That's actually incredibly empowering. We're not just along for the ride. We get a say in how this technology is developed and used to make sure it aligns with our values, our hopes for the future.
Exactly. Amodei's vision is less of a prediction and more of a call to action. It's an invitation to start a global conversation, to grapple with the big questions. What role do we want AI to play in our lives? How do we ensure the benefits are shared equitably? What does it even mean to live a meaningful life when so much is possible?
Those are big questions, ones that frankly we could spend years unpacking. But for now, we want to leave you with a final thought from Amodei himself. If we can overcome the challenges that have dogged humanity for centuries, what incredible new horizons might we reach? What dreams might we dare to dream in a world where almost anything feels possible?
Amodei's vision is a powerful reminder that the future isn't something to fear, it's something to build together with courage, compassion, and a whole lot of imagination.
This has been quite the deep dive, folks, but we want to hear from you. What resonated? What questions are you grappling with? Join the conversation on our social media channels, and until next time, keep exploring.